Hello there. My name is Himador. Well, it's one of my names. This is Himador here, a nice little Asura that decided that putting together body parts was much better than putting together golems. Hey, and what do you know? Because he's a genius. Anyway, this is a little tutorial how to do Tequatl. This is east defense. That's east DPS. That area is west DPS, and that area there is west turrets. Now, what I'm just showing you here is where people go when they're during what's called the defense phases. I'll explain those later. But that's basically I'm going towards the east battery. The east DPS goes towards the mega laser. Yeah, I'll explain all that later. But what we're really concerned with here is the turrets. That's the good-looking thing that I've just got into beforehand. What the turrets do in Tequatl is they do various things. A, they remove what's called the hardened scales, which is a buff that Tequatl has, and B, they have various effects on the people around it. There's number one, which just does damage. There's number two, which is cleans the scales. There's number three, which cleans poison clouds, which appear all over the place. Number four buffs the damage of friendlies for about a second or two, and number five heals them and gives them regeneration and removes some conditions. That's the basic of what a turret does in this scenario. Now, there's only 6 turrets in the whole map, so the people who do them are kind of expected to know what the heck they're doing. So yeah, that doesn't happen a lot. But anyway, we do try. That's the thing is, I'm going to demonstrate what happens from the perspective of a turret under a typical Tequatl scenario, and hopefully some people will gain some use out of it. Here I'm just tossing the various effects and things. One thing is, if you don't actually use the turret for a certain amount of time, you just get booted off it. So people when they're just sitting around, they just tend to do that to keep control of the turret. But let's just skip ahead to when Tequatl actually arrives. Now you can see him over there in the water. And yeah, there I go, just tossing buffs at people, and Tequatl appears there, knocks over that tower. Some poor guy has to keep rebuilding it, so yeah. I hope he gets well paid for it. And there's the big man himself, Tequatl. Now here I'm just redoing my graphic settings because I have to, because my computer isn't the best, I have to kind of run it at a lower resolution than everyone else. Something low resolution is essentially pretty good in these situations. Now what I've done here is I've targeted Tequatl's head, and what that does is I fire 2 at him, which has a cooldown of 12 seconds to remove the scales. And what I've just done there is I've used number 3 to cleanse the poison cloud which landed around me, which is my way of protecting myself. Now I'm actually shooting the Tequatl's fingers which appear around me. Now that is something most people don't do, and I think they should, because it does about 3,000 points of damage. Just under 3,000 points of damage. Now each turret can only do maybe 1 or 2 of Tequatl's fingers, and you have to be sure to keep going back to Tequatl when the cooldown has come back, and keep spamming the number 2 at it to get rid of that purple buff, which is the hardened scales. Because once it reaches 21, bad things happen. I just talked to my party there. But as you can see, the 2 DPS stacks are laying into Tequatl with everything they've got. The right one I think basically does melee, the east one does melee, and then the west one does range damage. Now everybody is trying to kind of kill those fingers as well. Basically, what you do, and I'm looking around to make sure that my companion turrets aren't in any way harmed by poison clouds. Now there should be guys around me to protect me from rampaging undead, because undead appear. Unfortunately, here I'm trying to target another temple, and here unfortunately, yeah, I die horribly because there's nobody around. They all ran off to the shipwreck, and there was nobody around to actually protect me, and my turret's destroyed. And when you die, you're supposed to go up to Brulu waypoint up here and swim back. Now I'm going to want to skip past and swim back because it takes about a minute. And what you can do is you can go to a box of repair hammers and then pick up a tool to repair it to bring your turret into repair. Obviously somebody else did it for me, and thanks very much, my friend. Now, a lot of people, and that's what happens when the hardened scales reach 20. Each bit of hardened scales reduces the damage Tequatl takes anyway. B, you can reach 21 Tequatl because of 1. Thankfully, it's not the bone wall isn't actually that tough, but it's still annoying. Now, the thing about doing this thing is people go, "Oh my God, you're taking away from the time you're focusing on Tequatl." That's true, by shooting for Tequatl's fingers. But the thing is, you're doing 3,500 points. Sorry, 2,900 points of damage to the tool. That's a lot, and you're fine doing that once a second. And that means you're taking them down. You're helping the guys to get them down fast, which means less damage you put around, which means more people actually focusing on it. So I think focusing on the fingers like that is actually the way to go about this, because it gets really very, very good. If the guys in the turrets knows which one's thinking of, if you shoot it at a finger and you don't see any damage, then don't bother shooting it. That's basically it, because you can only focus on them, or you can only shoot certain fingers from each turret. This one in particular is lucky because it can actually do 3. Again, I'm throwing a cleanse on myself with number 3 to get rid of that poison cavity. The nice thing about being a necromancer is that your summons will actually go out. There we go. Now the other thing I've noticed about Tequatl when you're doing this is that sometimes it doesn't seem to affect him when you throw tools at him. I'm wondering, is it because he's throwing his head around like he's doing the stomp? So doing it when his head is relatively clear is probably good as well. As you can see, there's all the turrets, sorry, the tendrils around him are gone, the fingers are gone. So everybody's focusing on Tequatl. He's going down quite well. Once he reaches 75%, he'll fly off, and we'll go into a defense phase, which is what happens, which is when everybody charges off and does the last attack. Here's he going with his breathe attack, which does 300. Now you can see my fellow turreteers laying into him with their own shots. You do about 2,900 points of damage to Tequatl on a normal shot, which is worth doing. But some people say, "Oh, you shouldn't do it at all." You should be more capable boss, but in this part, you should be more concerned with the taking up scales. Like my guy, the guys now are just I've completely broken taking it down. In my case, I'm shooting the turrets again, cleansing myself. And because I'm shooting up the tendril and everyone laying into it, that tendril is now gone. I'm shooting this one. I'm going right. We've got the number 2's recharged. That's shot off again. And I'm back shooting the. Another finger down. And back to Tequatl. Now we should be coming close to him with 75%. It can be hard to target to take again, and it's actually very easy for you to lose lock on Tequatl and fire opportunities. He's at 75%, and now we're on the defense phase. And I'll just take you through one of the defense phases here. Now there's various launch pads here, which you can get there faster. I haven't quite figured out which one of them was at this stage. Here I go, and yes, but hey, I try. Now on the east defense, you're supposed to focus on the abominations, because they explode next to you and have lots of damage. You can see one of them coming up here now. Wisdom. And they have a specific name, I can't remember what they And yeah, our battery does take a bit of a hand with this one. And with the north one, you're supposed to stamp these grub woods, which spawn grubs. You don't do it. And on the east one, take off the fingers now. And also the guys are doing their best here, but we seem to have picked a short straw on this one, and there's just unpaved everywhere. Still, they're doing a good job taking down those things. Now, the rule is, when it gets to about 20-25 seconds to go, you can go back to get into position for the bottom. If your battery's taking a hammering, then don't do it. Unfortunately, something hit me just as I launched, and I died in midair, dropped to the ground, then had the most surprising resurrection since Lazarus. Yeah, what can I say? Anyway, one of the jobs of the Turreteers is not to go back to the big DPS stack that's building up on the Tequatl right now here, but we're going to go back and we're going to be shooting Tequatl, because now we're doing just under 10,000 points of damage to the shot, which is quite significant. And the whole point of this is, if we can get him to 75% again, he'll just fly off again without actually doing anything more than trading away. Otherwise, he creates more tenderings. So somebody has to spend time cleaning that up. And yeah, it can be a bit of a mess. Unfortunately, we don't quite have enough DPS to do this particular group, but we don't do that. Yeah, there he is. He's just he's waking up now. Running back to their there tends to be quite a bit of dying at this part of it, and he's just summoning his fingers all over the place again. It tends to be much more intense than the face. There's a mesmerizating feedback to bounce the fingers shot back himself. And Tequatl's flying off again. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of fingers there, so I spent some time shooting them down to try and help the guys who are cleaning the beach. Because you don't want all those fingers around. You know, now, I'll just skip ahead to the next phase. Now in this, you really do want to get back to your turret as quickly as possible, or get to Tequatl's landing point as fast as possible. So using the jump pads is definitely a good thing. Now, it's pretty much from now on, it's pretty much an automatic. Everybody's gathering to the point where the commanders are gathering, because they're supposed to know there. Tequatl's swooping in, he gets shot by the laser. Then the turrets shoot him for 10,000 points. If you can reach, throwing number 5 or number 4 on the stack of people is a good idea as well. There he's going down pretty well. Unfortunately, it's not very action-filled, this, but, well, what can you say? Unfortunately, this part, the Tequatl minions can't spawn. So, as you can see, where's all my health going? Oh dear. Yeah, I'm dead. But, interestingly, all of a sudden his minions run off because he's now flown off. They're all attacking batteries. And then a hero comes along and saves me. Yay! And again, I'm going to skip ahead to the next burn phase. You don't really need to see me running around like a maniac around various things, do you? Killing various undead, which is basically what happened. And yeah, there he is again. This time I was a little late getting to the thing, but again, it's the same deal. You get there, you target him, and you just lay into him. And I hate to spoil the ending for you, but Tequatl's dead. Woo! Now, as you'll see, when Tequatl dies, various chests pop up. You get up to 4 chests, Once a day you get what's called the gold chest, and the gold chest is what has a chance of giving you Tequatl sword, which is a set of weapons. There's Tequatl flying off and falling into the water because he's defeated, and the fingers just all fall apart, and that's it. Well, listen, I hope you find this informative at least, and see you on those Tequatl runs. Take care of yourselves all. Bye bye.